Hi, my name is Alex. I am a first-time mom to a 9-month-old, and I was about 5 months postpartum when I joined the coaching group at Freewell. Just day by day, there wasn't a whole lot of planning or structure. I was constantly having to ask for help from my mom and just not feeling super confident and obviously very tired. In survival mode, I wasn't thinking about any intention behind the relationships around me, with my partner, with myself. I just wanted a healthy baby and to make sure that I was being the best for someone else. Being postpartum and back to work was way harder than even when people told me it was going to be difficult. It was much more difficult than that. I was dealing with a lot of political elements. It's horrible to feel, and it felt very isolating, and it felt like, my career was just getting started, but I had a baby, and I was shocked that one of those things had effect on the other. New environments to figure out, new routines to figure out. So it was a very out-of-body experience for me, and I just was so overwhelmed. I didn't know where to begin. I didn't have a strategy in place. I didn't have any conversations or ways to start conversations on how to better prioritize and organize my life. That is not one you've ever had before, in a body that looks entirely different than you've ever had before. So I was just desperate for any source of guidance and community and friendship that could help me feel less isolated. A part of me was like, 10 weeks, I don't know if I can just talk about baby things for 10 weeks, how much is there? It's feeding, sleeping, tummy time. But it was so much more than that, and I'm so glad it was. So the approach that Dina has is something quite incredible. Really mindful, intentional questions to get you to think introspectively and put kind of a science to it so that you're not spiraling and swirling with the inevitable postpartum feelings. You're in a new mind, you're in a new body. You have a new body to take care of. There wasn't an answer that fit into a formula. It was, this is what my life looks like, and this is how we can make it work. The questions that are asked, the conversation topics, the weekly homework assignments, all of those topics were structured so that you could answer them related to you. It's not threatening, it's not judgmental. It's something that you can take away after those 10 weeks and have forever. Feeling like people have even noticed my confidence. I've had a couple people tell me that, when they became a mom for the first time, they were a wreck and they were really insecure about some things, and the baby crying was unbearable and they didn't know how to get past it. And those things are all very valid, but what I was able to take away was a mindset of, it's just life and it's gonna be really hard and you're gonna have feelings about it. So take a minute to understand those feelings, maybe where they're coming from, and then take a breath, take a step back, and be able to problem solve around that. Sometimes I feel like I'm annoying the people around me with how confident I came out of this group. And of course, there's gonna be some change. Crazy to think that someone has to give you permission to have all of those things. And it wasn't permission at all. It was a tool book and conversations that allowed me to process how much I wanted to change about myself. And that might be more in a nurturing state, a little bit more patience, a little bit more understanding. Things will falter, but you have the guidebook to bring you back, and you can kind of feel when you're out of sorts. And the discussions that we had with Dina are able to be repeated and bring you back to where you can find balance in all aspects of your life. It pulled me out of what was kind of a mood haze, and it allowed me to move forward in a calm manner, where if I needed to just, have the tough conversation, have a bad day, I could process it and shake it off and start over. And if I had a good day, I could understand what went right, and maybe we add that to the schedule. Feeling like you have control over your own mind again is incredibly helpful. Pretty revolutionary for a first-time mom. I'm happy to feel like I have myself while growing with a baby, because there's just a lot to juggle. So that's when you have a really good team around you, and the communication piece of, this is what needs to happen today. What are you able to get done? What am I able to get done? Was something that we touched on heavily in Dina's group, and it's something I'm going to continue forever, with a family vision statement and goals, and being better about planning, so that when we want to do something and get away or have our family time, it can happen because we've planned and prepared for this. What surprised me about my experience is that I was able to come away with tools that even my partner was going to take on. Like, we're having conversations from the guides that Dina made. He's seeing the value of it too, and that makes me so happy and proud that I could come back with solutions that we're going to bring into our family forever. And having a vision statement for your family. I mean, little things where you're like, oh my gosh, yes, of course, that totally makes sense. I thought that was probably one of the most impactful things I took away from the group, that someone just had the framework and the questions and insight to provide to someone else and make it happen. So if you are on the fence about joining this group, so was I. I thought that postpartum was, the first couple of weeks after you give birth. And then after that, you're like, off you go. And that's just not the case. I emailed Dina. I said, I'm really interested, but my baby's already like 5 months. Is that okay? And she was like, yes, of course. I've had women do it 8 months in, and it's however you need it to be. And it was such a silly thing that I thought postpartum had an end date. It doesn't. Just do it. If there's even a thought in your head that maybe you could rely on someone to help you with anything at all, no topic is off grounds. Do it. There's something you're going to get from it, and it might not be everything that I'm saying here, but I think that's also the powerful thing about it, is that everyone has their own takeaways that are going to be formulated into their daily lives.